Hello and welcome. My name is Biagio Mazza. I'm Pastoral Associate here at St. Sabina's in Belton, Missouri, and I'm here to welcome you to another Do You Know series. Since April the 22nd is Earth Day, we decided that it would be good to do this Do You Know series devoted to what the Catholic teaching is on the environment. The most recent and the best articulation of this teaching comes from an encyclical that Pope Francis has written called Laudato Si, which is translated as praise be to God. Praise be to God for what? Praise be to God for all of the beauty and wonder of creation and for having created us and all of God's creation, suffusing it with God's presence, God's life, and God's very spirit. Pope Francis starts with the observation that we are not doing a very good job of taking care of God's creation. This is due, as he names it in the encyclical, due to our anthropocentrism. Nice big fancy word, meaning that we are basically thinking that the earth and everything in it was created for our use and that we could do with it whatever we wanted, and without caring for the consequences for other people or the earth itself. And so Pope Francis suggests that that is not what God created creation for, or all of us for. Rather, God created us to be in relationship with one another, harmonious relationship with one another, where we are called to care for one another, not just fellow human beings, but also all of God's creation. God created us definitely to be co-partners with God in caring for all of God's creation. In Genesis, it's often translated that human beings have dominion over God's creation. And dominion has often been translated in this anthropocentric manner, in which it means that somehow or other, we as human beings can do to creation whatever we feel we wanted to, without needing to pay attention to consequences or the after effects or different results that come from the way we handle nature. Rather, Pope Francis says that God very clearly expects us not, dominion is not lording it over or power over nature, but rather dominion is relationship with, care for, tilling the land, but also nourishing the land so it can continue to nourish us. When we speak about loving neighbor, we usually, the Christian message is always that somehow or other when we see a neighbor in need or a neighbor being abused or maltreated or oppressed, we are to respond. That is our Christian calling. But we usually reserve the neighbor just to a fellow human being. Pope Francis very much is aware of the fact that God created us with an attunement that the neighbor is not just a fellow human being, but the neighbor is all of creation. It includes the rainforest, it includes all the animal, it includes all the land. And we are to care for the land and for all of God's creation whenever we see it destroyed, oppressed, or maltreated or mistreated. Elizabeth Johnson, a theologian at Fordham University and one of the best theologians of our day, has written a good bit on this topic of the ecological consciousness and has written a book called Ask the Beasts, in which she proposes that for us to move towards developing ecological consciousness, a conversion of mind and heart, of connecting us with all of creation, we need to develop 3 responses. And she articulates those responses as, first and foremost, the contemplative response, where we look upon the earth with eyes of love and care and concern, and not with eyes of lust and selfishness. Her second response is what she calls the ascetic response, in which we develop strategies and disciplines in order to kind of curb our rampant consumerism and actually start to seek care and protection for the earth, in order that the earth can be protected. And finally, she calls the prophetic response. The prophetic response is to begin to take active action and proposals towards really showing care and concern for the earth on the local level and on the national level and so on, where we do strategies that actually make a difference in caring for the earth. And so I hope that this has helped in making you more aware of the Catholic teaching on the environment, especially with the Laudato Si encyclical of Pope Francis and both Elizabeth Johnson. And hopefully, as we celebrate Earth Day this year, it will raise your own ecological consciousness and continue to impact care and concern for the earth. I hope that this has helped, and I hope that you will return again once more to the Do You Know series. Thank you very much.